And we are live. Hello, everyone. My name is Karsten Kork. I'm the founder of Traveling and Living in Peru. And together with me, I'm here with Susana, who is in New York and joining me as my partner in crime of entertaining you, and to answer your questions today. Susana.
Hi everyone. Hi, Karsten. Yes, we're here to entertain and also to inform, to get people's questions answered.
Exactly. So today's a pretty special day. I just been reading about this miracle that happened in Puno, Peru. Do you want to share something about it?
Yeah, well, let me share the article so people know what we're talking about. But yeah, we wrote about an alpaca laying an egg. So a farmer in Puno came to that surprise, and that image we have is pretty crazy, isn't it?
Absolutely. But I understand that this is the first time in several hundred years. It has happened before, at least. Other cultures have kind of spoken about it in some way, in the past. And apparently, a miracle has happened this time, and it's on again. Anyway, it's a very interesting story. It's going to be interesting to see how what happens once everything gets boom, boom, boom. All right. So also we have a few questions, and before we go that far, I would want to welcome everyone that is with us here today. For some people, it's a holiday. It's Thursday, and it's the beginning of Easter. For other, Easter starts tomorrow. Here in Peru, Easter has already started, but I understand that in the US, Easter starts tomorrow, and of course, also depending on what religion you have. Anyway, Susanna, so we have a few questions from our readers today. Can you share with me the first one?
Wow. I'm going to say hi to Eric from Long Beach, California, and from Katya from the UK. Hi, everyone. And yes, so we've been getting questions throughout the week. You guys can always submit your questions at yourfriends@livinginperu.com. And then if you guys have extra questions, put them in the comments and we'll answer them at the end of the questions we already have. So the first one's from Jennifer, who asked, are flights from Lima to Cusco canceled, even if we already bought tickets? And Jennifer, so we assume you're talking about the flights that were canceled for Semana Santa Holy Week, April 1st to the 4th. So all internal flights, there are no internal flights from the 1st to April 3rd midnight. Only international flights are operating these days. But beyond that, flights to Cusco are as normal, right, Karsten?
Absolutely. So the airport is open, international flights is arriving and leaving, but national flights is put on hold for at least today, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But after midnight on between Sunday and Monday, flights will be operating again.
Yeah.
So Kevin O'Hanlon also has a question about upon arrival to Peru. And the question is if he needs to go in quarantine despite that he has the vaccine and he has both shots. It is so that even though that you have the two shots and you have the vaccine completed, you can still carry the virus. So you still need to bring a negative PCR test upon arrival. And you also need to take a quick test upon when you arrive to Lima Airport. If that quick test, antigen test, is negative, you do not need to go into quarantine, but that's the only way that you can avoid to quarantine. But if you already have the two shots, if you have a negative PCR test, chances that you have a positive test upon arrival or at arrival is very, very small. So I will dare to say that you don't need to go to quarantine.
Yes. So yes, that was the second question. Our third question's from Sophie, who is going to travel to Peru with her partner, and she just wants to know, what is Peru like for tourists at the moment? Are tours running? In terms of being in cities and towns, is it permitted to walk and sightsee? So this is a general question of what it's like right now. And it depends on what area of Peru you're going in. I'm going to post our article that states what areas, what cities, what regions are under extreme risk, very high risk, and high risk. And depending on where you're going and what area you're going to, the touristic places are either open or closed. Extreme risk areas, most touristic places are closed, and then in the others, it's the capacity changes. So you can go in there and you'll see like it's either 40-60% capacity in museums, in archaeological sites, in artistic areas. So you'll have all that information there. In terms of walking around and sightseeing, you can definitely walk around, obviously with your mask on all the time. Extreme risk areas, and for example, right now during the Holy Week, you can only go outside for necessities, but that's only in the very extreme risk areas. And then exercise, you can go walking, you can run, you can do that with a partner, again, always with a mask. So the mask mandate is everywhere when you're outside.
Well, I think that it's important to tell that the reason why Peru is a kind of lockdown during Holy Week or Semana Santa is because our infrastructure, when it comes to our hospital system, is not as good as in many other countries. We would love that it will be perfect. It isn't, and it's basically the system is full, and that's why we cannot afford that more people are getting sick. If more people are getting sick, it will create more problems for the government. Also, we have elections coming up on April 11, and we want to be as well prepared for that as possible, as it's obligatory to vote in Peru. Which is another challenge during these difficult COVID times. But that said, after April 4, originally I'm from Denmark, should anyone be in doubt. And I think the lockdown in Denmark is even tougher at this moment. Here in Peru, restaurants are open, 40% capacity, but it allows those who want to go out and have a nice lunch, dinner. But whereas in Denmark, all restaurants are closed. Yes, we can go out. We have lockdown during the night. It means from 9 p.m. in the evening till 4 a.m. in the morning. But personally, I don't have any problem with it. I go to bed early, I get up early, and the sun is shining when I get up for my morning walk around 6 a.m.
Yeah, and again, if you guys go to our COVID update article, you'll see exactly what regions are under the different curfews. There's a curfew, like Carson said, 9 p.m. There's one for 10 p.m. In low risk or not high risk areas. So you'll have all the information there. And yeah, all of these rules are in place to keep people safe, but also there are a lot of things that people can do, and things change. Every 15 days, the government changes the regions that are under extreme and high risk, low risk, etc. So
Right.
keep checking in.
And I mean, I must say that it's, Peru is one of the few countries in South America that is actually open to tourism and has, I will say, rules that is able to work around to explore the country, to see different things. And it's still a beautiful, fantastic country. And that reminds me that Cecilia Pochon from Switzerland is asking if they will have to take another test when landing in Lima. And yes, it is like that. It doesn't matter how many tests and when you took these tests. Before you arrived to Lima, you will have to take a speed test or an antigen test, where you will get the results within 10 to 15 minutes. If you decide not to take this test, you will have to go into quarantine. But it is pretty simple to take the test upon arrival. And once you have the negative tests, you're free to visit Peru as you have planned.
Yes. So we have a couple questions from our viewers right now. We have one from Malik Rogers. Hello. He asked, do you need a COVID test before leaving Peru? And that depends on where you're going, your destination, and the airline that you're flying. So check both things. But they don't check at the airport, the Lima airport, for a COVID test.
No, but it is absolutely important that you check with the airline and with the country where you are leaving to. Again, if I had to go back to Denmark, I would need to have a negative PCR test upon arrival, and I would also on certain airlines, I would need to bring a negative PCR test to get on board. So it really depends on that. Also, BJ Triple, is asking if you need a vaccine to enter Peru. No, you do not need to be vaccinated before entering Peru. Of course, it's always fantastic if you have the opportunity to get vaccinated before you arrive, but it is not a demand from Peru at this point, and I doubt that it will be neither in the time coming up.
Yeah. But things are changing internationally, and we'll definitely keep people informed. It seems that, you're a stamp of having been vaccinated will be necessary to have to travel in other places around the world. So
I think one of the beauties of deciding to travel to Peru at this time is that we are used to have up to 5 million tourists a year, and that creates certain long lines in front of in front of museums and ecological sites. In particular, a place like Machu Picchu. Now you can almost have Machu Picchu to yourself, which is something very rare and something very unique and beautiful. I always tell our guests that when they get to Machu Picchu, it's great to sit down, find yourself a corner, and then close your eyes and meditate a little bit. It is a unique place with a certain magic. And if you take the time to close your eyes and take a deep breath, yes, then you will feel the magic. And no matter what, the magic is still in Peru.
Yeah, and the wonderful thing about Peru is there's a lot of areas, natural areas that outdoors, and that's the best kind of tourism right now. You're in the fresh air, and obviously keeping with precautions and safety protocols. But Machu Picchu or even the Inca Trail is open, the 2-day 1-night. So there's a lot of opportunities, and always the one thing to do is keep safe. But yeah,
the magic is absolutely still intact in Peru. You have the ocean where you can go swimming, you can go fishing, you can go surfing. We have some of the best waves in the world along the coast. The beaches are some places open and some not, but at least you can walk and enjoy the good weather. We are in here in Lima. We have blue sky. It's sunny, 25 degrees. So it's very nice. And as Susanna was saying, up in the mountains, there's a lot of areas where you can go trekking, and you have Peru almost to yourself. And then, of course, there is the jungle. My niece was in Tambopata last week, and she said it was beautiful. All the flora and fauna was intact, and I hope that we in the next week that comes up, we'll be able to publish some photos from that trip, so you can see all the beautiful animals that she experienced there. So yes, we are still alive and kicking, and Peru is as beautiful as always.
Yeah. So BJ is asking, is Lima open? And you can look for the details in our article, BJ. But yes, it is. Lima right now, the city is under very high risk. So like Carson said, curfew is from 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. But during the day, you can do a lot of things. There's just a capacity limit for certain museums, certain archaeological sites, malls, shops. The capacity is limited, but you can definitely go to these places. Restaurants are open, either at the restaurant or deliveries. So yeah, Lima is open. Lima is right now, because of Holy Week, it's not, but yes, like you can definitely do and see so many things. So
yeah, Monday we're ready for receiving tourists from around the world and starting little by little. I think it's important to know that Peru, one of the main industries in Peru is tourism, and tourism has been hit hard. 1.4 million people normally are working in the tourist industry, and a lot of these people are now doing something else or inventing something to do while we are waiting for tourists to come back. The government is doing everything possible to bring tourists back as quickly as possible, but of course we want to make sure all tourists are safe. So if that means that it will take a little bit longer, then that is what it takes. I think the Peruvian people have understood that we will not open the country at whatever cost, but we will open the country little by little and make sure that both tourists and the local population will feel safe and good about traveling around Peru.
And I just posted in the comments our article on the safety protocols that we take on our tours, limited capacity with group tours, and all the safety that tours drivers, tour guides, all of that. We want to keep people safe. So that's the main goal.
Absolutely. All right, Susanna, I think we answered all the questions here today. As always, we'll be back next Thursday, every Thursday at 5 p.m. Lima time. We will be here to answer all your questions. Feel free to send your questions to your friends at livinginperu.com, and feel free to join us. Share with your friends that Peru is open and is ready to receive you, and that we, the team of Traveling and Living in Peru, and myself are ready to be here to answer all your questions.
Yes. Well, thank you, Carson, and thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Susanna, and happy Holy Week. I hope you will get some ceviche and chilcanos and whatever is available near you. It's so good to know that many Peruvian restaurants have opened up around the world. So if you cannot come to Peru right now, at least you can go and have a little taste of it somewhere near you. You just have to look up in the internet and say, where is the nearest Peruvian restaurant to my place?
It's just a few blocks, so don't worry.
Just a few blocks. Absolutely. Thank you very much. Have a good Holy Week, and I'll see you next Thursday.
Bye, guys. Bye, Carson.